I'm pretty sure in my first AEP, I was trying to make myself look older because I was in my 20s and I carried around a big bag full of health plans and each book was like this thick. And I had this tendency of like really having back pain because I was carrying this huge duffel bag full of health plans over time. And it was hard work. Through all that, I do remember that through the hustle, there was success. I also had burnout and I lost clients. The punchline here is hard work wasn't enough. I needed efficiency. So, welcome to Closed. I'm Justin Jacobs, and this podcast is built for agents who want to win without burning out. That's the idea here. So, let's talk about where we're at right now. Today is September 14th, and we are getting ready to go into AEP 2026 for Medicare, and then Open Enrollment 2026 starts in November. If you're an agent, if you're seasoned and you've been in this business for a while, I will say that it's another year and it's going to be another war. And here's some of the problems that we're going to face this year specifically. Like every year, the regulations change, the rules shift, CMS moves the fence back a little bit, and the health plans have to adjust. When the health plans adjust, that also means the benefits adjust. And you know what happens when benefits adjust? We have to go talk to our clients about them. So that means you and me driving around, talking to people and getting them enrolled or re-enrolled into a plan that makes sense for them moving forward. This is one big problem that we have right now. Call centers are taking market share. That is a huge one. Over the last, I would say, 5 to 10 years, there's been an influx of call centers. They're using technology. They're reaching out to your clients and convincing them to enroll in a plan without you. One thing that really stood out to me years ago was somebody had once said that your clients aren't just comparing you with your competitor, they're comparing you to every other service that they experience. So for example, if they're fans of Disney and the service level at Disney is 5-star and you're not delivering 5-star service, they're comparing you to Disney. It seems unfair, but just that's the world we live in. And so client expectations are really increasing nowadays. And so that's a problem with agents. What are you doing to true up that client experience for your folks? Because they're just going to expect more out of you. It's just the way that works. One of the things that, is bare bones, in my opinion, is how fast do you respond by phone, text, or email? So speed of communication is a really big part of that. Do you pick up your phone? Do you return phone calls same day? Do you respond to emails within hours? Those are things that are really going to set you apart as an agent. But just know that, honestly, that's what clients are looking for. They're looking for responsiveness. It doesn't always have to be the right answer right away. I will say that the best agents that I've seen, they do take vacations, but they usually have a system in place. And so what does that look like for you? And making sure that you have a system in place for all of these things. So if you know that call centers are going to be randomly calling people, maybe prep your clients. Let them know, hey, you're probably going to get a phone call from call centers out there. Unless you requested that phone call, those calls are illegal for Medicare folks. They shouldn't be cold calling without permission. So educate your clients. And I think education also goes back into what your clients expect from you. So if you're an educator and you are sharing great knowledge with them, that's an expectation. They can expect to be educated on exactly what's going on out there. So that's a good one. If regulations change, the big one for us a couple of years ago was the call recording system. And if you're a Medicare agent, that was a pain in the you-know-what. We now had to figure out what tech could we use to record our phone calls. And we needed to record our phone calls because CMS had a really big problem with churn in the business, mostly at the call center level. And so what we've often seen in this business is a overcorrection of regulation. There are some bad eggs out there, and I do think that call recording can be a lifesaver. We've seen more good things come out of call recordings than bad things. Sometimes the clients just want to get out of the plan and they blame something on the agent and the call was recorded and it's clear as day that they understood the terms and conditions of that plan. I don't think that call recording specifically was a bad thing. It was really generally intended to slow down the call centers from just doing silly things. But it was also a hindrance to clients as well. Like they don't want to be recorded. There's a story of an agent, a Russian agent. She speaks Russian and she serves the Russian community. And that community has a really big problem with trust. With the KGB and where they came from, first generation, they just don't trust technology. They don't want to be on the phone. They don't want to be recorded. It's that big brother mentality in some of these cultures that it makes it harder for agents to really do business with them. That's really where we're at. But the trap here is I can't work harder versus I don't know how to work smarter. And the cost is lost clients, income, and your energy. So what are you doing to really level up your business? And so we're going to talk about some insight here today. Simple formula here. Success equals efficiency plus mastery, not random hustling. Okay. You can work harder and harder and harder, but you will hit a ceiling, right? You really have to put together a game plan in order to serve your clients at the highest level. So what we're going to do over the next 52 weeks, this is a brand new podcast, is we're going to talk about tactics, mindset, and assets, as well as access to some of the things that, we want to share with you as far as resources go. We're going to be bringing in scripts, sales systems, and tools. As far as a mindset is concerned, we're going to be talking about motivation and resilience and balance, all of these great tools and things that you need as far as your mindset to continue in this business. And then we're going to bring in some top producers, some carrier reps, compliance experts, wellness pros. We want to bring resources and smart people to make you smarter. So that way you can deliver the best out there for your clients. I'm going to highlight some of the tech. Some of it will be based on our agency. I run an agency called Health Plan Markets. I'm not going to be talking a lot about health plan markets on this podcast specifically, but some of the tools and resources that are out there. Obviously, if you're looking for an agency, we're happy to help you, but really we want to talk about strategy and higher level thinking for this business to move it forward. The key point here is stop guessing where you are and how you're doing your business and start adjusting in real time. So hopefully these podcasts will bring you value where you can really make a difference in your career. So here we go. 3 things that you can do this week in your business as you prepare and go through AEP. Now, I'm also going to have an episode specifically on AEP, but I also want to set you up for success as this continues. The first thing is, do you know how many apps you wrote? Do you know how many applications or new clients you onboarded from January 1st until now? Are you tracking that? If you're not, that's got to be step one. How many applications have you written? We use an electronic app. Ours is called HPM Shop. There's other ones out there. You've got Sunfire, Connector, and other FMOs have different versions of that, but there's a very easy way to do that in your dashboard, and it should be right on the front page. If you're not using e-apps, I will pray for you. I don't know what you would be doing, paper applications and things like that. It's just, it's 2025, right? We've got AI and self-driving cars. I think it's time that you probably just go into the e-app systems. It's time, right? There's so many benefits for doing it that way. So check your applications daily. You can do that right on your e-app system, whatever you're using. It's right on the dashboard, and that way you can track your goals. If you have a goal to make a certain amount of money, then you need applications, right? So how are you going to get to those goals if you're not tracking that? So that has to be a daily activity, okay? I would also look at scheduling a 15-minute status review so you can block that every evening. Take a look at specifically what's going on in your day. How are you doing as an insurance agent? Are you hitting your goals? Are you planning? We'll talk about probably later in a different segment, we'll talk about lag leaders and lead indicators, or lag indicators and lead indicators. And so these lag indicators and lead indicators, there are things you can't often control, right? You can't control how many sales you get in a month. You can have a goal, but you can't just say, oh, I'm going to do 20 sales. There's activities that you do to get to those 20 sales. What you can control is how many phone calls you're going to make. You can control how many events you do. You can control how many emails you send out, how many text messages you send out. What kind of marketing are you doing? Those are things that you can control. And those are all on kind of like that status review on a 15-minute every evening. One of the things that I do that I've recently just implemented, and I wish I did this as an insurance agent, is every morning I would spend 10 to 15 minutes planning my day. And that means going through my calendar, checking every appointment, and then I'd write down the number one primary task that I got to get done that day. Just one. Also, and if you have a really great day and you're crushing it, then I'll write 2 secondary tasks. And then I'll write up to about 8 different additional tasks. Now, the only thing that I got to get done is that one task, right? But then I go through my time and I time block. We're going to do a whole thing on like time management because I think that's a huge thing too, specifically. But right on here, I would say spend 10 to 15 minutes organizing your day and mentally prepare yourself. If you have 3 client appointments, then you got to be mentally prepared for that day. Do you have the kits? Do you have everything that you need? Did you do your needs assessment on those folks? Did they fill out that scope of appointment yet? All these things that need to be done ahead of time, it gives you a chance to clean that up in the beginning of the day. And then also at the end of the day, you should be reviewing your day. Where did you miss the mark? What went great? And then write down a highlight or take some notes on what really did work and move the needle for you. So spending 10 minutes at the end of the day, you can also start planning the next day. And believe it or not, you're probably thinking, Justin, why would I plan at night and then plan again in the morning when I wake up? Believe it or not, when you're sleeping, your mind starts shifting things around. So like you look at your calendar, you look at your meetings, you look at your client list, you look at those tasks, and then you wake up and you're like, you know what? Actually, I have to switch a couple things, or I forgot about this other thing. So it gives you like one more chance to make sure that your day goes off without a hitch. So that's another fantastic thing that you can be doing to get ready. Now, this is going to stay as short as possible with these podcasts and these videos here. And one thing I'm just going to ask is if you're listening to this on Spotify or if you're watching this on YouTube, if you could just subscribe, because we're going to put out one of these every week for 52 weeks. That is my new goal. And some of them might be great. Some of them might not be so great, but we're going to have guest speakers and we're going to have some really cool things happening here on this podcast. And we want to make sure that you don't miss an episode. I'm not going to ask for much. Might have a donation button here and there. You can send me some money if you want. No, but honestly, I just want to help the business move forward. And if you do anything at all, just subscribe so that way we know when we drop another episode. I just want to close with this really quickly. This particular podcast, it isn't about being average, and you shouldn't go about your life average, and you shouldn't go through your career as average. It's really about building that freedom and that legacy as an insurance agent, so you can build a clientele that follows you and they love you and what you do. So think about that as you're moving forward. So I want you guys to win and win big. So with that, I thank you guys very much for watching this first episode of Closed. Drop a comment in the description below and we'll read those comments. We would really love your feedback to see what other content you would like us to cover or for me to cover for you and give you some insight on what could make your career better as a health insurance agent. Until then, I'm Justin Jacobs. Thanks for watching.